The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority showing an 11% drop in visitor volume this summer. So there's a looming question. Do the perks outweigh the costs? And is our city still a premier tourist destination?
It's ripping the dream vacation right out of the hands of everyday folks like you and me, leaving us heartbroken and betrayed. Insiders are screaming from the rooftops. This once welcoming oasis has morphed into a cold, elite fortress, slamming the door on middle-class dreamers who now stare in disbelief, their wallets empty and spirits crushed before they even step foot on the strip.
It would be much busier. Judging from all the videos and movies, Vegas is just crazy and there's party everywhere, and then we arrived here and it was like that city.
Visitors who recently explored the area expressed disappointment over the changes, noting that what was once an affordable getaway now demands premium prices for even basic amenities. Reports indicated a drop of more than 10% in tourist numbers this year, marking the largest decline in over 50 years, even surpassing the downturn during the 2009 Great Recession. The escalating expenses for regular people have become a major barrier, as deals that once made the city accessible have vanished. International visitors, particularly from Canada, have reduced their trips due to ongoing political tensions involving tariffs and other disputes. Local officials, including the mayor, have publicly appealed for Canadians to return, highlighting their importance to the tourism economy.
Switch Valley casinos have weathered the storm by betting big on the suburbs.
Brian, Red Rock Resorts reported during their Q2 earnings call in their 49-year history, it was a net revenue best. So our question was, given the struggles in tourism in Las Vegas so far this year, how is a net revenue best for this quarter even possible?
During a Monday afternoon exploration of the MGM Grand, visitors confronted the eerie desolation of the casino floor, where vast expanses echoed with absence, devoid of gamblers and pulsing energy, evoking a raw urgency about the city's fading heartbeat. By 4 o'clock, the shocking lack of crowds intensified their dismay, sparking desperate questions about Las Vegas's survival. At the Bellagio, the emptiness persisted, with high-stakes rooms abandoned like relics and bridges once alive with foot traffic now standing silent, heightening the visitors' anguish over the contrast to cherished memories of bustling, vibrant scenes. The group pondered in frustration how smartphone gambling could be siphoning away the crowds, while traditional visitors from Asia and Europe shunned the destination amid escalating global tensions, amplifying the crisis.
Quickly, that people don't want to pay $70 for parking.
Staying at the Park MGM, the only non-smoking hotel on the Strip, the visitors paid $39 for the room, but faced $50 daily resort fees. Weekend rates for a basic room soared much higher, illustrating the prohibitive costs for extended stays. Resort fees covered essentials like Wi-Fi, pool access, gym use, room phones, and televisions, items typically included without extra charges elsewhere. The lack of in-room refrigerators forced guests to pay additional daily fees or improvise with ice-filled trash cans. This practice highlighted the nickel and diming approach that frustrates many travelers. A citywide 5-day sale was announced during their visit, aimed at luring back tourists with discounts on attractions and accommodations. The website for these deals listed offers like 2 MGM attractions for $55 or 50% off at Atomic Golf. However, even discounted rooms often ballooned in price after adding fees, such as a $50 night turning into $226 total.
The Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign is usually the first stop for millions of tourists. The line for that photo is noticeably shorter this spring, and Sin City visitors are paying more.
Travelers face an escalating crisis as Las Vegas's food prices surge into prohibitive territory, with breakfast hitting $50 per person and igniting widespread outrage among those yearning for the affordable thrills of yesteryear. Gone are the days of 49-cent breakfast and 99-cent shrimp cocktails that once delighted budget-savvy visitors. Now, $9.99 buffets have vanished, replaced by exorbitant premium options that fuel desperation and resentment. A $50 fried basket or $19 set of 6 wings provokes sheer fury, while $11 beers and $32 cheeseburgers exemplify the greedy inflation, leaving visitors seething. Even basics like a $7 fruit cup or $5 Coke accumulate into financial strain, and $24 meatballs or $30 penny sandwiches strike budget-conscious travelers as unforgivable gouging, transforming casual treats into unattainable luxuries that deepen their sense of urgent betrayal.
The second quarter was an exceptional one for the company by every measure. Our Las Vegas operations delivered its highest quarterly net revenue and adjusted EBITDA in our 49-year history.
The Strip now teams with high-end outlets like Prada, Dior, and Bulgari, aggressively targeting elite shoppers with $1,000 price tags that exacerbate the growing divide, stirring urgent alarm among displaced everyday visitors. These gleaming malls, brimming with designer labels, foster a deliberate air of exclusion that intensifies feelings of isolation and injustice. Middle-class travelers from places like Ohio confront profound discomfort, unable to partake in the luxuries and feeling profoundly alienated amid the overwhelming opulence. A dedicated Princess Diana memorabilia store heightens the extravagance, while nearby bars and restaurants impose staggering charges like $22 cocktails or $129 shots, evoking shock and indignation. One venue's $400 caviar and $300 wine bottles with no option below $100 underscore the elitism, as limousines crowd the entrances, signaling a frantic shift to affluent crowds and replacing the warm, inclusive spirit of old Las Vegas with a cold, corporate facade that leaves many in emotional turmoil.
The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority showing an 11% drop in visitor volume this summer.
Longtime visitors lamented the changes, recalling how the city used to be player-friendly with cheap blackjack tables at $3 a hand. Free buffets were a staple, encouraging extended stays and gambling. Now, winning at games like blackjack feels increasingly difficult, deterring repeat trips. Transportation costs, such as $30 Uber rides downtown, compound the financial burden. Resort fees have steadily increased, reaching $50 and alienating friends who no longer visit. The disappearance of iconic spots like the Desert Inn, Mirage, and Sahara contributes to a sense of loss. The corporate overhaul makes navigation harder for those familiar with the old layout. Many express that this might be their final visit, driven away by the overall expanse and altered atmosphere.
The gaming industry, pretty smart people. I think they're going to figure this out without my input, but I think we need to be wary. We need bodies here in Las Vegas.
Driving around revealed numerous empty strip malls and closed businesses just blocks from the main strip. An armed security guard at a convenience store on Las Vegas Boulevard highlighted underlying safety concerns. Homeless individuals and signs of neglect appear in surrounding neighborhoods, though the strip itself remains relatively clean. Crime, violence, and drugs make the area unsuitable for raising families, according to locals. Efforts to keep such issues off the tourist areas ensure a polished image for visitors. However, sketchy elements persist, like unattended kiosks with merchandise left vulnerable. Despite this, instances of large crowds in certain spots suggest uneven recovery. Pools and some casinos buzz with activity, challenging the narrative of total emptiness.
What surprised me was the food. The food has increased so much. The buffets are so expensive now. It's like, I don't know, unexpected maybe.
On a Sunday at 5 o'clock, the strip showed moderate activity, allowing for personal assessments of the scene. Fancy developments and exclusive venues like Lisa Vanderpump's bar reinforce the playground for the rich perception. Cocktails at $22 and rounds at $50 price out average patrons. The energy feels subdued compared to past visits, with fewer people drinking or celebrating openly. Upscale crowds carry shopping bags from high-end stores, signaling a demographic shift. Empty sections in casinos, particularly high-stakes areas, indicate missing international gamblers. Asian visitors, often seen in groups at premium tables, were notably absent. The overall vibe leans toward elitism, with less spontaneity and joy than before.
Yeah, look, tourism is on the decline. People are pulling back on spending in this economy, and that hits places like Las Vegas even harder.
An elevator conversation with visitors from Edmonton revealed defiance against the Canadian boycott of Las Vegas. They dismissed political tensions, expressing fondness for the city and its people. This encounter highlighted that not all follow national sentiments, with some prioritizing enjoyment over disputes. Tariffs and the so-called 51st state controversy have impacted tourism, yet personal connections persist. The group from Alberta emphasized separating politics from leisure. Such stories suggest potential for recovery if international relations improve. However, broader avoidance by foreigners contributes to the current slump. Appeals from local leaders aim to rebuild these vital visitor streams.
According to a Friday report from the LVCVA, hotel occupancy dropped to 76% in July. That's about a 7% drop from last year.
The explorers noted that Las Vegas seems to be pivoting toward events like concerts, shows, and sports, sidelining traditional gambling for regular folks. Sporting venues like the T-Mobile Center host teams such as the Las Vegas Aces, drawing crowds for specific occasions. The city feels upscale and corporate, with high costs for drinks like $40 for a beer and vodka soda. Middle-class presence has diminished, replaced by those willing to spend lavishly. Despite reports of decline, some areas remain packed, especially on weekends. Honesty compels acknowledgement that, while expensive, the city still attracts significant numbers. The change in crowd type and subdued atmosphere stands out as the most notable shift. Plans for future visits hinge on whether affordability returns or exclusivity deepens.
All right, now to this, we're talking more in depth, and this time we're talking about our tourism slump. And so this is something that we've been covering for quite some time now.
Venturing to Laughlin, an aging resort town 90 minutes south of Las Vegas, provided contrast to the Strip's glamour. This smaller version of Vegas features about 8 casinos, appealing potentially to budget-conscious travelers. Staying at the Aquarius, considered the fanciest option, cost only $10 on a Saturday night. Initial observations showed surprising busyness, with long valet lines and crowded lobbies. However, this activity peaked on weekends, as confirmed by hotel staff. Exploring other casinos revealed varying levels of occupancy, with some nearly empty. One property closed during the pandemic and never reopened, standing as a relic of financial hardship. The town's overall vibe feels run down, lacking the excitement of its northern counterpart.
Talking about how we're trying to get out of this slump. And of course, it really does matter every single visitor right now. And we're going to turn to our Steve Wolford, who is live from downtown Las Vegas.
Several casinos in Laughlin appeared deserted on a Saturday night, with minimal cars in parking lots. The Tropicana showed little activity, prompting questions about broader trends. Bartenders quoted high prices like $31 for specialty shots, shocking patrons. Beers at $8.50 seemed reasonable compared to Vegas, but still added up. Service delays at half-empty bars frustrated attempts to order drinks. The Golden Nugget felt particularly quiet, with sparse gamblers and a somber atmosphere. At 9 o'clock, the streets outside were devoid of people, contrasting expected weekend energy. This emptiness extended to restaurants, where prices like $30 for shrimp or $50 for steak felt inflated for the setting.
I know you've been looking at discretionary income. Explain what that is. That's basically when people have extra money after they pay their bills. That really matters, especially right now.
One bright spot emerged at the Pioneer Casino, where a band played energetic tunes like Blurred Lines, energizing the crowd. Sportsbooks sat empty, with no one watching games or placing bets. The Colorado River backdrop added natural appeal, though water levels raised concerns about shortages. Signs of neglect, such as unlit neon displays, signaled a need for modernization. Locals noted that Laughlin has struggled since the pandemic, failing to fully recover. It positions itself as a value alternative to Las Vegas, attracting driving visitors on budgets. However, without upgrades, even this demographic might dwindle. The overall impression left the explorers unimpressed by the janky, outdated feel.
The second quarter was an exceptional one for the company by every measure. Our Las Vegas operations delivered its highest quarterly net revenue and adjusted EBITDA in our 49-year history.
Conversations with staff revealed that Saturday nights represent the peak of activity in Laughlin. The town has maintained the holding pattern post-pandemic, but shows signs of aging infrastructure. Empty properties like the Colorado Bell, closed for years, underscore ongoing challenges. Modernization efforts are deemed essential to prevent further decline. Low-budget travelers have kept the area afloat, but boredom could drive them away. A concert by an artist like DRI explained the unusual crowd at one hotel. This event drew unexpected numbers, temporarily boosting occupancy. Overall, Laughlin's normal state leans toward quiet, with little recent worsening.
Robust visitation and strong spend per visit, coupled with a strong table games business, helped drive the highest revenue and profitability in our gaming segment in the company's history.
The transformation of Las Vegas reflects broader economic shifts, where luxury experiences dominate over accessible entertainment. Insiders point to corporate ownership as a driving force behind the upscale pivot. This strategy aims to maximize profits from high spenders, even if it means fewer total visitors. The decline in middle-class tourism affects local businesses beyond the Strip. Empty malls and closed shops signal ripple effects in surrounding areas. Political factors, including tariffs, continue to suppress international arrivals. Recovery hinges on resolving these issues and perhaps reintroducing budget-friendly options. Until then, the city risks alienating its traditional base.
Now, Red Rock Casino says it's also your new neighbors contributing to the change as home construction continues on Summerlin West, Cadence, and Inspirada. Those new residents directly linked to the nearly 10% growth.
Many visitors shared stories of frequent past trips, coming 5 times in 1 year when prices were reasonable. Now, the ridiculous cost for everything from rooms to meals deter returns. Breakfasts that were once cheap have become luxuries at $50. The loss of warmth in the city's design, replaced by cold glass and concrete, diminishes appeal. Mobility challenges in the new layout add to frustrations. Food prices, in particular, stand out as a major barrier, with items like $11 beers, shocking budgets. The sense of being ripped off permeates experiences, from resort fees to vending machine markups. These cumulative factors lead many to declare their visits as likely the last.
Tourism is the lifeblood of Las Vegas, but lately that lifeline has been thinning. From April to May, visitor numbers dropped nearly 6%, and the effects are rippling through the industry.
The Canadian boycott stems from tariff disputes and political rhetoric, significantly impacting visitor numbers. As a key demographic, their absence leaves a void in tourism revenue. The mayor's public pleas underscore the desperation to regain this market. Similar sentiments from other international groups, like Europeans and Asians, compound the issue. Online gambling's rise allows people to enjoy similar thrills without travel expenses. Fear of deportation among Latino communities adds another layer of avoidance. Despite this, some individuals ignore the boycotts, prioritizing personal enjoyment.
That's our bread and butter. We need gamblers. There's shops and food and everything else to do, but we really need those gamblers to come back, and those gamblers react to better values.
Daytime explorations reveal stark emptiness in major casinos, contrasting with busier evening scenes. High-stakes rooms, typically buzzing, sat silent without the usual players. The lack of energy during peak hours suggests a fundamental shift in visitor patterns. Evenings brought some crowds, but locals insisted it paled compared to pre-decline levels. Pools filled up, indicating that certain amenities still draw people. Traffic on the Strip at night showed vitality, challenging total emptiness claims. However, the subdued atmosphere lacked the joyous chaos of old. This inconsistency highlights how perceptions of business vary by time and location. Las Vegas increasingly relies on events to boost attendance, from concerts to sporting matches. Venues like the T-Mobile Center host high-profile games, attracting fans regardless of broader trends. Shows and shopping experiences cater to those seeking non-gambling entertainment. This pivot may sustain the city, but at the cost of its gambling heritage. Regular folks find themselves sidelined, unable to afford event-driven visits. The corporate feel enhances this exclusivity, with luxury brands dominating the landscape. Insiders suggest this intentional strategy targets wealthier demographics. Whether it succeeds long-term remains uncertain amid ongoing slumps.
Hotel occupancy rates have also declined, we've been reporting, with a drop of 1% overall in April and a larger decrease specifically for the hotel's downtown of 2.6%.
Historically, Las Vegas offered cheap rooms, food, and entertainment to lure gamblers. Buffets at $9.99 and rooms under $50 were norms. Hookers and other indulgences came at accessible prices, fostering a fun, carefree vibe. Now, corporate ownership has erased these draws, replacing them with premium offerings. The Great Recession of 2009 saw declines, but current drops exceed those. International tensions amplify the issues, unlike past economic hits. The city's evolution toward elitism marks a departure from its inclusive roots. Many mourn this change, feeling the soul of Vegas has been lost. Efforts to maintain cleanliness on the Strip involve pushing homeless populations to peripheral areas. Sidewalks gleam, presenting a polished image to tourists. Security presence, like armed guards at stores, addresses safety concerns. Crime and drugs persist, but are contained away from main attractions. This strategy ensures visitors feel secure, encouraging spending. However, underlying issues in neighborhoods reveal a different reality. The balance between appearance and authenticity challenges the city's image. Overall, these measures succeed in keeping the tourist core appealing.
It's hard because if you drop the fees, you're probably going to drop the service and the quality as well, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Guests improvise to counter high costs, like using trash cans for cooling drinks without fridges. This highlights frustration with pay-for-basics policies. Sales and deals attempt to mitigate sticker shock, but fees often negate savings. Websites promote attractions at reduced rates, yet totals remain high. Examples include $9 rooms ballooning to $100 after add-ons. Such practices breed cynicism among travelers. The need for creativity in budgeting underscores the exclusivity barrier. Ultimately, these workarounds reflect a broader pushback against gouging. Bar prices shock with $13.50 for 2 soda waters. Shots and mixers reach $19.50 for minimal servings. Beers at $11 deter casual drinking. Exclusive bars charge even more, aligning with the rich-only vibe. Service inconsistencies, like long waits at empty counters, add insult. These experiences contribute to the subdued atmosphere. Visitors question the value, opting out of indulgences. This pricing strategy clearly targets high rollers over average patrons.
Through the summer slump, we know that a lot of the resorts on the Strip and the hotels downtown have been suffering because of the lower visitor numbers.
The shift to glass and concrete structures creates a sterile corporate environment. Gone are the warmer, inviting designs of past hotels. Navigation feels more challenging in this modern layout. The loss of landmarks like the Mirage alters the familiar landscape. Upscale malls dominate, pushing affordable shopping aside. This evolution prioritizes aesthetics for the wealthy. The resulting vibe lacks the spontaneous energy of old. Many visitors feel disconnected from this new Vegas. Recovery could come with improved international relations, easing boycotts, lowering fees and prices might lure back middle-class tourists. Events continue to provide short-term boosts. However, the upscale pivot seems deliberate, potentially permanent. Insiders debate if affordability will return. Political changes could restore foreign visitor flows. The city's adaptability has historically ensured survival. Time will tell if it rebalances toward inclusivity.
I actually called off work a little early. I got me a babysitter.
Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford comes to Allegiant Stadium Saturday.
In their final morning, the explorers reflected on the bright but expensive future of Las Vegas. Encounters with defined international visitors offered hope. The subdued energy and upscale crowds defined the trip. Empty high-end tables signal missing demographics. The corporate shift feels complete, altering the city's essence. While not dead, Vegas has undeniably changed. Costs remain comically high, demanding careful planning. The dispatch concluded with appreciation for the insights gained.
Look, I mean, we can take this back in time for a long period of time. There's no doubt that what's sort of given rise to some of the concern is the fact that tourism is down and visitor spending is down.
The Colorado River in Laughlin shows signs of low water levels, tied to regional shortages. This environmental factor adds to the town's challenges. Dead streets at night contrast with natural beauty. Unlit signs and empty areas emphasize neglect. Modernization could integrate environmental considerations. Visitors ponder if this impacts tourism appeal. The setting offers potential for eco-focused revival. Currently, it contributes to the rundown impression. A DRI concert explained the packed hotel, drawing unexpected crowds. This event highlighted how performances can temporarily revitalize areas. Without such draws, normalcy leans toward emptiness. Bartenders and staff confirmed weekend peaks. Pricing remains more affordable than Vegas. Yet, service issues persist in busier spots. These insights clarify Laughlin's uneven busyness. Events may be key to sustaining interest. Laughlin emerged as a budget alternative to Las Vegas decades ago. Its casinos cater to middle-class gamblers seeking value. The pandemic dealt a severe blow, closing properties permanently. Recovery has been partial, with aging infrastructure hindering progress. Locals note steady decline without upgrades. The town's janky feel stems from lack of investment. Comparisons to past vibrancy reveal significant changes. Future viability depends on reinvention.
I think that in the summertime especially, like this is a time when everyone's traveling and wanting to come to Vegas and party and stuff, but I'm noticing like
Restaurants like Claim Jumper offer meals at elevated but not extreme prices. Bubba Gump's $30 shrimp dinners feel steep for the locale. Steak dinners at $50 challenge budget expectations. Missing are the all-you-can-eat deals of yore. Service in eateries varies, with some spots feeling understaffed. The variety caters to casual diners. However, markups reduce appeal for value seekers. This pricing mirrors broader trends in resort towns. Live bands provide highlights, like the energetic performance at the Pioneer. Songs energize sparse crowds, creating momentary excitement. Sports books remain underutilized, even on weekends.
A live look at I-15 with you at the state line. Thousands still making their way to Las Vegas for what will be an action-packed weekend. 3 major events taking over the city.
The atmosphere feels like late night, quiet, despite early hours. Gambling options abound but lack participants. This sorry state on Saturday surprises newcomers. Perspective from regulars suggests long-term decline. Entertainment could be a path to revival if expanded. Residents express concern over the town's aging fast without intervention. Holding patterns post-pandemic mask underlying issues. Driving visitors sustain minimal activity. Boredom among repeat guests threatens loyalty. Signs of disrepair, like outlights, symbolize broader neglect. Calls for modernization grow louder. The value proposition keeps it afloat for now. Community efforts might steer toward improvement.
From now right through Monday, WWE, the Canelo vs. Crawford fight, and a Raiders game to round things out on Monday night. You're watching 8 News Now at 11. I'm Brian Loftus.
Vegas's luxury contrasts sharply with Laughlin's budget focus. Emptiness in both reveals shared tourism woes. Political and economic factors hit harder in Vegas. Laughlin's debt normalcy predates recent slumps. Events boost both but unevenly. Pricing gouging is more pronounced in Vegas. Accessibility defines their differences. Both face adaptation needs for survival.
These prices aren't going up because Caesar's Palace is running out of sunscreen or running out of beer. They are charging you more because they think they can.
Insiders expose how Vegas deliberately courts the rich through premium amenities. Corporate strategies prioritize high-margin visitors. This excludes average families and gamblers. The transformation alienates longtime fans. Revelations about fees and prices shock newcomers. The rich-only narrative gains traction. Exposures aim to highlight inequities. Calls for balance emerge from these insights. Tourism declines ripple to local jobs and businesses. Empty casinos mean fewer tips for workers. Closed malls signal retail struggles. Transportation services see reduced demand. Recovery efforts like sales provide temporary relief. Long-term, diversification beyond gambling is needed. Economic resilience will determine future prosperity. Visitors adapt by seeking off-strip deals or day trips. Budgeting for fees becomes essential. Improvising amenities saves money. Choosing non-peak times reduces costs. Sharing experiences online warns others. Some opt for alternatives like Laughlin. These strategies mitigate exclusivity barriers. Adaptability ensures continued enjoyment for some.
I'm Sasha Loftus. So is this what Vegas needs after a bumpy few months for tourism? I spoke with several people here for all the excitement.
I mean, when big events come, then it comes alive.
Tariffs and boycotts politically charge the tourism landscape. Canada's stance stems from specific disputes. Appeals for return highlight dependency. Similar global tensions affect other markets. Resolutions could restore flows. Politics intertwine with economic health. Visitor defiance offers counterpoints. Navigating these influences challenges city leaders. Projections suggest continued upscale focus unless shifts occur. International returns hinge on diplomacy. Affordability campaigns might lure middle class back. Event reliance grows as gambling wanes. Corporate ownership shapes trajectories. Potential for rebound exists with adaptations. Observers watch for signs of balance. The city's evolution continues amid uncertainties. The changes evoke nostalgia and sadness among repeat visitors. Loss of fun, spontaneous vibes disappoints. High costs breed frustration and resentment. Declarations of final visits reflect emotional detachment. Stories of past affordability heighten contrasts. The corporate shift feels like a betrayal. Emotional engagement wanes with exclusivity. Reconnecting requires restoring accessibility. Media amplifies the downfall narrative, influencing perceptions. Reports of 10% drops grab headlines. Comparisons to recessions add drama. Insider exposes fuel discussions. Coverage drives investigative visits like this. Balanced reporting knows persistent crowds. Media shapes recovery narratives. Ongoing stories track evolutions. Perceptions of sketchiness deter some families. Efforts to clean up succeed on the Strip. Neighborhood realities differ with higher crime. Security measures reassure tourists. Balancing image with safety is key. Incidents like unattended kiosks test trust. Overall, managed perceptions sustain visits. Realities influence long-term appeal. Home gambling via apps reduces need for travel. This shift contributes to physical casino emptiness. High-stakes absences highlight demographic changes. Traditional gamblers feel sidelined. Alternatives like online platforms gain popularity. Vegas adapts by emphasizing experiences. Evolution challenges core identity. Balancing options will define future gambling scenes.
It's a big weekend on the Las Vegas Strip.
I guess everyone's getting ready for the weekend, so there's a lot more people.
People are pouring in from across the country and right here at home for an action-packed lineup.
Critiques of glass and concrete focus on lost warmth. Modern designs prioritize aesthetics over comfort. Navigation issues frustrate veterans. Landmark losses erase history. Upscale malls dominate spaces. Critiques call for human-centered updates. The shift reflects corporate priorities. Restoring charm could aid recovery. Tips include booking midweek for lower rates, avoiding resort fees by choosing off-strip spots, seeking free attractions and shows, packing snacks to counter food prices, using public transport over Ubers, joining loyalty programs for perks. These tips help navigate costs. Budget savvy ensures enjoyable trips. Entertainment shifts toward concerts and sports over gambling. This cultural change attracts new demographics. Traditional fun gives way to premium events. Inclusivity suffers as a result. Cultural narratives evolve with these shifts. Insiders know the intentional pivot. Adapting to preferences, shapes, offerings. Cultural relevance depends on balance.
The tourists are what make us. We don't have tourists, we don't have an economy, we don't have employment, and we don't have a great lifestyle that we have now. So it's important to work with the tourists.
Environmental factors like water shortages affect regions including Laughlin. Sustainability becomes a tourism concern. Efforts to conserve could enhance appeal. Visitors notice impacts on landscapes. Integrating green practices aids long-term viability. Environmental awareness grows among travelers. These considerations influence destination choices. Proactive measures benefit recovery. Service workers face reduced tips from fewer visitors. High prices strain interactions. Staffing shortages lead to delays. Industry adapts to upscale demands. Challenges include retaining talent. Service quality affects perceptions. Improvements could boost satisfaction. The human element remains crucial. Marketing focuses on deals and events to attract crowds. Websites promote discounts effectively. Strategies target specific demographics. Revival efforts emphasize uniqueness. Marketing counters negative narratives. Success depends on authenticity. Ongoing campaigns shape images. Strategic shifts aid tourism rebound.
Make sure that they continue to come to Las Vegas, they know where the values are, and it fits their budget. People have a lot of economic uncertainty.
Reflections highlight contrasts between past and present. Nostalgia for cheap, fun times prevails. Current expenses prompt reevaluations. Trips become less frequent for many. Reflections underscore vibe changes. Personal stories humanize decline. Future visits depend on improvements. Reflections guide recommendations. Communities respond by advocating for affordability. Local voices push against corporate greed. Responses include boycotts and alternatives. Community forums discuss impacts. Responses shape policy discussions. Unity strengthens calls for change. Ongoing dialogues influence directions. Community resilience shines through. Technology enables home entertainment, reducing travel. Apps for gambling shift behaviors. Technological tools aid budget planning. Influences include virtual tours. Tech-savvy travelers adapt quickly. Influences reshape industry norms. Embracing tech could innovate offerings. Balances with in-person experiences are key.
It's difficult to plan a vacation when you don't know if you're going to have a job. And so we're trying to make sure that when people do come to Vegas.
Analysis shows declining middle-class presence. Upscale demographics dominate. International absences alter mixes. Analysis reveals event-driven spikes. Demographic shifts guide strategies. Understanding patterns aids targeting. Analysis informs recovery plans. Diverse demographics ensure vibrancy. Comparisons to 2009 recession show deeper current drops. Economic factors like inflation amplify issues. Past recoveries offer lessons. Comparisons highlight political elements. Economic resilience tested anew. Lessons guide future actions. Comparisons underscore severity. Optimism draws from historical rebounds. Artistic takes capture the city's evolution. Representations in media reflect changes. Artistic narratives explore exclusivity. Representations influence perceptions. Creative works humanize stories. Artistic lenses provide insights. Representations evolve with times. They contribute to cultural dialogues.
This particular trip, that it seems to be less crowded than normal. We usually come on Labor Day weekend.
I said something to her about it, that it just doesn't seem that busy for being a holiday weekend.
Resorts emphasize wellness with gyms and pools. Fees for basics challenge access. Health options cater to upscale crowds. Wellness trends shape amenities. Inclusivity in health offerings lags. Improvements could broaden appeal. Wellness integrates into experiences. Health focus aids differentiation.
They know they're valued. They know that the servicemen and women are going to take really good care of them, and they're going to have a great vacation.
Transportation costs, like $30 Uber rides, strain budgets. But options like monorails, buses, or walking offer savings. Efficient planning cuts fees amid city growth, boosting accessibility. Nightlife has shifted from casual vibes to exclusive, high-priced clubs catering to elites, subduing energy. In conclusion, reviving fun, balanced elements could restore appeal for all.